Well, welcome to Houston Life, everyone. Wednesday, February 10th, 2021. I'm Derek Shore here in Studio B.
And I'm hunkered down at home, Studio 1H. I'm Courtney Saval. It's great to see you, Derek.
It's great to see you, Courtney. And, you know, I am so excited about our guest today because when it comes to celebrity gossip, reality TV drama, this person knows it all, right? Numerous roles in television, in film. It's actually her second appearance on Houston Life. We're going to get into that in just a moment. She's a comedian, always on top of what's trending in Hollywood. And now she's bringing the juicy scoop to Houston. Please welcome to Houston Life, the one and only Heather McDonald. It's so good to see you. Just seeing your face makes me smile.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay, so we got to talk about the podcast because you've had this podcast now for 5 years, 60 million downloads. This is incredible because I feel like these days everyone has a podcast, right? But you were doing it long before it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, when I did it, I just did it so that people would know that I was coming to their town to do stand-up. I didn't expect it to make money. I didn't know anything what I was really doing. And then, it really grew a lot, and especially in the last couple of years. And, it just keeps growing, and I'm getting better and better interviews, and a lot of press organizations will write about it. So it's just been great, and a great way to stay connected during all this time that I haven't been able to do live stand-up shows.
Well, I think there's a lot of great content out there right now, Heather. Of course, this past weekend with Britney Spears, Anna Nicole Smith. I mean, I'm obsessed with your podcast. All the girls in our office listen to it all the time. And so even though you're not able to connect face-to-face as often as you would like to, I know you're coming to Houston. We're going to talk about that this weekend. But there's some good content out there, girl, right now for a lot of these celebrities.
I mean, there really is so much juicy scoop. I mean, the Britney Spears documentary is something that just is fascinating because it really focuses on what she was going through like 12 years ago. And when you see how people chased her down and talked about her on shows and made fun of her and these old clips, and then in light of this new world we have of really trying to protect the more vulnerable people and being more sensitive to people's mental health issues and stuff, it just makes so many people look horrible, and magazine covers, and, it's just kind of shocking how much the world has changed for the better, thank goodness. I think that kind of was the biggest takeaway from it. And then, of course, she has a court date tomorrow, Thursday, to get this conservatorship taken away from her father, Jamie. And I really hope that happens. And I really think this documentary is what's going to make the judge be more aware of it. I think he was granted this because he was the first one to ask for it. And the judge probably was like, hey, I'm seeing all this go on in the tabloids and on the news as well. Obviously, this girl needs help. And I think at the time she did. But the fact that over the years, she just had to stay in it and she didn't really have a voice. And thank God for the fans and the documentary. Now she's going to have her day. And I think it's going to go her way.
And I just want to point out to our viewers who have not downloaded the podcast, that was a little taste of what you will get on the podcast, Heather. We appreciate your analysis so much. It's a different way of looking at Hollywood. Okay, so Courtney acknowledged you're going to be doing some shows coming to Houston this weekend. Yes. We're going to get to that. Before we do, though, you came to Houston Life years ago when the show first started, okay? And I know you probably don't remember this because you said before this interview you didn't quite remember. Do you remember going to do a mall show, like a TV show in a mall?
Oh, yes. Yes. Okay. I totally remember. You had a little studio in the mall. Yes, of course.
We had a little studio in the mall, and somehow it was not conveyed to you that we were in the mall. So you drove all the way to our Channel 2 studio off the freeway first. Then you came to the mall. And I remember everything was so last minute.
We might end up in the show tonight.
I was just going to say, these two idiots on the show I was on
about
today.
Doing a talk show in the mall. This is pretty.
You've always wanted to work at the mall, and now you finally do, Heather.
I do have to say, I love Nordstrom, and I will be going in there before I leave.
All I remember is someone yelling like, 5, 4, sit down, and the look on your face, you're like, what do I do? And you were like, I felt like we had traumatized you, and to this day, we all get nervous Anytime we hear your name, because we're like, oh, Heather McDonald, I think she still hates us. She still hates us. But
oh, no, not at all. Look, I'm so glad that anybody even wants me to appear on anything, do any TV shows, come to my shows. No, I remember that was just sort of confusing, but it didn't bother me at all. I was still happy to get the word out to have people come to the shows, that anybody that's going to tell someone that I have a stand-up show and so that the place is as full as COVIDly possible, then great.
Well, and just to clarify too, we were confused as well, so you weren't the only one who was confused. And now we are not in the mall anymore. We actually do have a television studio, so please come and see us in our studio sometime. You're always welcome.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, let's talk about the show this weekend, because this is probably one of the first ones that you've been able to connect with your fans, right?
I have only done one show in October in Tempe, but prior to that, the last time I did stand-up was at the Palm Beach Improv in March, right before the shutdown. So, but I had so much fun doing those couple shows in Tempe. I'm actually just really excited to just almost be freer and just be able to talk about everything and uncensored, because even with the podcast, I know that I have to still be really careful, but that's what's so great about stand-up. It's that people aren't filming me on their cameras. They're not allowed. And it's an intimate setting. And I'm able to get back into just talking about the craziness of the world and my life. And it'll be really fun. And they're being really, really careful to make it safe for people. And it's at a half capacity, and there aren't that many tickets left. So I hope that people come and enjoy it, and I'm excited.
I think it is great that you're able to do a live show, to interact with fans, again, as you mentioned, in a safe way. When I look back at your credit list, Heather, it really is staggering. So many roles in TV and film. You've worked with Chelsea Handler, the Wayans brothers, your stand-up special that's out on Amazon, 2 New York Times best-selling books out there. And of course, we can't forget all of your impressions that you do and your reenactments of reality shows that then go viral. You have such an incredible gift. I know you've been married for more than 20 years. I find it so hard to believe that before you found this gift, you were working in real estate?
Well, I was my parents were a realtor couple. And so I was pursuing stand-up comedy and everything else because it was a somewhat of a flexible job. So that made it was a good, safe environment to have, because I would be about to go on a listing appointment with my parents, but then I would, stop off to do an audition, and my mom would run lines with me. So I was really lucky that I was from LA and I kind of had that safe foundation to pursue comedy and writing and acting, but while also having somewhat of a normal paycheck.
It's so great. And I love how real and raw you are. My husband and I are big fans of yours. We always used to love watching you on Chelsea, just giggling and just, the talent that you have to put a skit like that together for so many years. But then I forget, wow, yeah, you're a mom. Your stepdaughter's 21, teenage boys. I mean, do they know how cool you are? I hope they do.
No, I don't think that they do, but I have recruited them to do some of the things. We are obsessed with Below Deck as a family, mostly because my son can't believe that people pay $50,000 for 2 days of fun in which the crew then humiliates them and calls them cougars and horrible people. So we like to watch that show, and we actually did a whole parody of it. And my boys were the crew, and I was Captain Sandy. I played 2 roles. I played Captain Sandy and a cougar guest. And, they go along with it pretty much. I try not to exploit them too much, but just enough that, they let me pretend. I pretend that I'm the Bachelorette and they are my suitors. I mean, it's just... And then, I just say, hey, if I was a farmer, you'd have to wake up at 5 and pick corn. I'm not. So this is what you have to do as part of helping the family business, which is Juicy Scoop and my stand-up career. So they're pretty great sports. But no, I don't think anybody in this business, I don't think anybody's kids are their biggest fans. Definitely not.
Well, I think it sounds like a blast to be in your family. So if you're looking for a sibling, you know, the sidekick, the crazy uncle, I'm happy to play that role.
I love it. Young uncle to the kids, big brother or something. Yeah.
Oh, you're too kind. Well, Heather, listen, before we let you go, because we're almost out of time, out of all of the impressions that you've done, I'm not going to put you on the spot and ask you to do it, but do you have a favorite?
Well, Drew Barrymore is by far my favorite. I've been doing her the longest because her point of view is very easy for me to understand. I like to improv a lot as her. And now, of course, she has a talk show. And God bless her, you know, she launched this talk show during the pandemic. So she's got the Zoom audience like we've got going right now. And but she's still so positive. So anything you want to talk about, she's so excited. Like, today is going to be crochet day, and we are going to learn how to crochet. And I'm a crochet novice. I'm not great at this, but I'm truly obsessed. And you're like, my God, girl, I'm so happy you're this happy about crocheting. Like, it's just kind of amazing. She's extremely likable, and she's just fun for me to do. You know, we're kind of the same age. I kind of look like her. So she's just sort of my favorite to do. And she's been around for so long, and she will be forever. So I love doing people that are like, you know, classic and likable.
Just like you.
Yeah.
It's a good point. I still can't, I mean, even your mouth moves like Drew's. It's incredible. Well, listen, Heather
Thank
McDonald,
you.
it's so great to see you. We want to remind our viewers, your show here in H-Town is happening at the Houston Improv. Tickets are still available. There's the info on your screen. Friday and Saturday nights. Details are available online, heathermcdonald.net. You can also, of course, subscribe to the podcast Juicy Scoop with Heather McDonald. You will be glad you did. It's in its 5th year, 500 episodes, 60 million downloads and counting. Congrats, Heather McDonald. And trust me, Courtney and I are relieved you don't hate us.
Oh my God, absolutely not. Love you.
Okay.
I went shopping after that at the mall.
Did you really?
It's a great mall.
Yes.
Just bizarre for a TV show.
Yes.
All right, Heather, great to see you.
Thank you.